AFTV, brought to you today by the excellent football app, Football Flash. Hi and welcome along to AFTV, brought to you today by the excellent football app, Football Flash. If you want to get details on this weekend's game, Bournemouth versus Arsenal, jump into the app right now. You can get all the details on injuries, details on what the lineups could be, lots of information. Check out Football Flash right now, and don't forget to download it. The link is in the description. We use it a lot when we're putting together this particular show. Listen, Bournemouth away, tough game, straight after the international break, and thank God that's over. Oh my God, was I bored. I don't know about you guys. I'm sorry, Nations League, whatever league, National Cup, Friendlies, wherever it is, it's boring. They need to do something with the international break where they just lump a load of them together, play like 3-4 weeks international break, and then come back after. Honestly, we've just been having too many. We get started in the Premier League, we stop. We get started, come on, man, it's boring. That's my opinion. I know what your opinion is. Maybe you get excited by it, but until the big tournaments come around, I find it really hard to get excited about any of these international games. And I was at one the other night. I went to Brazil versus Cameroon. It was a friendly, but it was so half-hearted. The challenges, Neymar came off after about 7 minutes with a supposed injury. You know, it's honestly. But listen, the real stuff is back. And I'm so happy about that. And it's a tough game. Away at Bournemouth, a ground that I love going to because it's a small, intimate ground. You get really close to the players. It really is a good place to go and watch. Unfortunately, it's such a small ground that you only get an allocation of about 1,500, if that. So a lot of fans always miss out on getting to go to that game. But I love it. I love going to Bournemouth. But will our players love going to Bournemouth? It's going to be a tough game. Bournemouth are in 6th place. We're in 5th place. There's 4 points difference between the two of us. And I'll tell you what, they could have passed us if they hadn't lost their last 2 games. They lost to Manchester United at home, beaten 2-1 in a game that I remember watching that game. Bournemouth should have been out of sight at half-time. They had so many chances, missed them. Manchester United came on strong in the second half and deservedly won in the end. And then away to Newcastle again. Bournemouth had lots of possession, but it was Newcastle who came out on top. So Bournemouth really themselves need to get back to winning ways, but they've got a good team. In Callum Wilson, they've got a real top quality striker. He scored the other day for England on his debut. He really is a confident player at the moment, really doing well. And a player I've got a lot of respect for. He's come back after 2 serious injuries and has fought his way into the England team and is a top goal scorer, or one of the top goal scorers in the Premier League. He is a quality striker. A lot of big clubs looking at him at the moment, thinking that he could do a job for them. And it's not just him, they've got players like Fraser, Nathan Ake in defence, another player who I really rate. After he was at Chelsea, never got given a chance, as half of their players don't. But he's got onto Bournemouth and he has looked solid in defence. So Arsenal are going to have to be on their game. As I said, Bournemouth on a little bit of a downer because they've lost their last 2 games. But maybe the international breaks come at a good time for them and they're at home. And last season at home, they beat us 2-1. I remember the game. We went 1-0 up. I think it was Bellerin who scored. And then bang in the second half. It was a typical Arsenal that we saw last year. Capitulation. And we lost 2-1. And that actually was our first ever defeat to Bournemouth. And but Bournemouth will be confident because in that game, I remember last year, in the second half, they took us apart. And it just was not acceptable for our Arsenal team. And then I even remember going there when we had that 3-3 draw. We were losing 3-0. So, listen, Bournemouth will be confident in this game. They play good football. They're going to take it to us. They're not going to have any fear of Arsenal. And they've got a great manager in Eddie Howe who will be really pushing them. So, Arsenal are going to have to be on their money. We don't want to see, and fair play to Unai Emery, we haven't seen those away performances that we saw last year. We've seen a more steelier, grittier Arsenal team, but we're going to have to defend very well. And that's one thing that over the last few games I've not been too happy about. Take the Liverpool game out of it. I thought in the Liverpool game we played exceptionally well, but in the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, we were awful. If we play like that against Bournemouth, we'll get taken apart. We have to defend better. And Unai Emery, interesting in recent interviews he's been doing, he's been talking a lot about defence and defending. He realises that it's an area that needs tightening up. Kolasinac in that last game was dreadful at left back. Previous to that, though, the Liverpool game, he played well. Concentration. Granit Xhaka, again, mistake. Cost us a goal in that game. Good player, but needs to concentrate highly in this game up against guys like Callum Wilson or guys in that Bournemouth team that will exploit mistakes and capitalise on them. We cannot afford to make those mistakes. Bournemouth are a good side. But listen, we've got enough to beat Bournemouth as well. We've got enough firepower. Alexander Lacazette has been on fire this season. There was fears that he could be injured because he didn't go and join up with France. He was selected for France, but he said he had a slight injury. But we know what these slight injuries are like during the international break. He'll be all right. He should start against Bournemouth. Aubameyang as well, another guy that's been banging in the goals this season. Now, will he start right from the beginning or will he be brought off the bench? I mean, the problem we got now is, of course, there is no Danny Welbeck, and it's a big miss for Arsenal because he was coming off of the bench and he was doing really, really well. So will we start with Aubameyang and Lacazette, or will we just go with one of them? That's going to be an interesting thing to see. Will we start with Iwobi, who I think in this game should start? We're going to need somebody who's going to really take it to that Bournemouth defence that is vulnerable. That is one of their weaker parts, is their defence. So it's going to be a really, really interesting game. We're up against an attacking team. They won't go all-out attack. They'll sit in a bit and try and catch us on the counter-attack. But we saw against Wolves that we were very, very vulnerable against a counter-attack. I know that, we were chasing the game, so we were throwing everything forward. But we got to defend better. We got to be more, organised on the counter-attack. And as I said, Bournemouth got players that can hurt us. Defoe, remember, is still there. Jordan Ibe, who scored last year against us. So we're going to have to be really, really solid at the back. I mean, I'm not sure what the situation is on Nacho Monreal. I think he's still not quite ready to come back. It would be great if we could get him back in the side, because that left-hand side has really, really been worrying me over the past few weeks. Without Monreal, we see how important he is now. Kolasinac, listen, if he does play, he owes the team and he owes the supporters a performance after his horror show in the last game. But listen, football's all about bouncing back. It's all about putting that last performance behind you and saying, right, I'm going to step out there and I'm going to put in a top performance for the team. And hopefully that is what we see from Kolasinac come this weekend. So it's a tough game. Bournemouth away, Sunday, early kickoff, another Sunday. You know what as well? This is another thing that's annoyed me as well, right? Why not give us a Saturday kickoff this weekend? We've got this Europa League, so we're going to have Sunday next week. We have to have the Sunday the week after. I mean, all these Sundays are... it gets on my nerves a lot, right? I've got a bit of a personal problem with it, right? Because my son plays football on a Sunday. So like when you got them early kicks off away in Bournemouth, that means I can't go and watch him play, which really annoys me as well. But it's not just that. I mean, all these Sunday, come on. I like to go to football on a Saturday like we used to do back in the day. Can't we get some Saturday games back? But we are in this Europa League, and that's another thing as well. We've got the game against Vorskla next week, Thursday, away in the Ukraine. By the way, Arsenal Fan TV, we will be there. So make sure you look out for us. We will be there. But we're away in Vorskla. But the good thing about it is because we've already qualified, we don't have to worry about resting players and maybe sending out certain players, because that is done and dusted. So that's the one good thing. So we can go full pelt against Bournemouth, put a strong team out. It's kind of level playing field because we've both had international breaks. We've both had players away with national teams. There's no excuses, but Arsenal need to go out there and put in a big performance. And if we can capitalise on Tottenham, even Chelsea, dropping points this weekend because, One of them's going to drop points. And these are the games, if we're going to get into the top 4, I know it's a tough game, these are the games we have to win. I do think we're going to win it. I'm going to go for Arsenal winning by 2-1. What do you guys think? Leave your predictions below. I'll come back tomorrow as well and do what I think should be the starting lineup for that game as well. I'm going to really have a deep think about this one because Bournemouth are a good side and we've got to be careful. But really looking forward to it. Love going to Bournemouth, as I said. Bournemouth versus Arsenal.